more people, perhaps because of my age.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the One Lead Away podcast with me, your host, Emma Clayton. Welcome. Thank you for being here. I have had the best weekend just gone, and I wanted to debrief you on it because there's some freaking gold that I walked away with after spending 3 days in a room with other entrepreneurs, other people that are really wanting to make a difference in the world, especially with some of the shit show that we're seeing at the moment. And yeah, as I'm still buzzing in that energy, I wanted to bring some of my key takeaways to you who didn't get the opportunity to be in the room, but still get to benefit from some of the gold that came out of the wonderful Suzy Ashworth's mouth. So I went to Suzy's Quantum Shift event in January, and actually, I think it's episode, let's have a look, it's like 74 or something like that, episode 78, 78, where I debriefed on that one. That was the end of January. And it was just before I went into my second time out retreat in Margate. And I remember that something had shifted for me in that room that weekend because when I went into the second retreat, I was like owning it in a totally different way. I remember sort of stepping into this like next level facilitator role and yeah, just really being sure of the value I bring in the space that I hold. And I was brave in terms of how I challenged people and how I held that space and how I went deeper with people on this second time round. And I do believe it was as a result of being in the room. So I knew at that moment that I wanted to be back in the room if there was another opportunity. So when Suzy put on Infinite Receiving Live in September, I jumped in feet first, knowing that I wouldn't regret it. Now, this time I went without a friend, I went on my own, and it was a completely different experience, partly because of that. Because, you know, when you go with a friend, you kind of tend to stick together, you lunch together, you sort of take the breaks together. I definitely didn't meet and speak to as many people last time as I did this time. And actually, I made a beeline for these ladies on the drinks, VIP drinks, the other night, and ended up knocking about with them for the whole weekend. And yeah, just met some amazing, incredible people who I know that I'll stay in touch with, whether that's just online or who will end up, you know, being friends with. One lady is even going to come to me and come for a VIP day. So that's super exciting as well. And that was never my intention of walking into the rooms. It was just a natural progression of just being me and showing up as me and, you know, being open to meeting some incredible people. So if you ever get the chance to go somewhere like that on your own, um, do it. Don't like shy away from it. You might think I'm an extrovert, but actually I love my space and my time and um, my downtime. I love being on my own, but actually, what I've learned in the last this year, really, as I've put myself in more rooms and challenged myself to like be in a room of this sort every month throughout the year, is that I've just had so much fun because there's something about walking into a room when no one knows you, where you just get to be unapologetically yourself, and it's like you receive me as I am, and if you don't like it, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, right? So give it a go if you ever get the opportunity to go along to something that you're interested in, but you're not sure quite how it's going to go. Don't let that hold you back. Like, just be brave, step into the room, and step into the room like you belong there. And that was the other thing. Suzy actually tasked us with stepping into our next level version of ourselves in the way that we dress and present ourselves, right? And now I love my comfies, and actually, I had the outfits were in my mind were the ones that were like the comfiest to be in all day, the ones I could wear my trainers with, um, and I just feel like, you know, my lumps and bumps and that are just like not on show. And she really challenged us to think about bringing the glitz and the glamour and the sparkle and the sequins. And I was like, I do not own any sparkle or sequins. I seriously do not. However, I remembered what fun I had at Ideas Fest the week before with the dress up tent. So I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to go through my wardrobe. I've lost a bit of weight. Let's see if there's anything that fits that didn't before. And I actually found a dress that still had its label in it that I wore to the VIP drinks, and I did my nails red, and I found some red lipstick. I do not wear lipstick, but I was like, what the heck? Why not? And I found some little red heels that I've obviously kept hold of because I don't wear heels anymore. I wear trainers through and through. If they're not my pink Converse, then they're some form of trainer, right? And yeah, I found these little red, they're really nice actually. They're sort of just the way they're shaped is really kind of flattering. And they have the tiniest little kitten heel. So I was like, I think I can cope with that for a 2 hour reception drinks. So I wore a black dress that was very floaty. It was sort of longer at the back than it was at the front. It was cut off at the arms. I had my red accessories and I went a bit different with the jewelry. And I felt like $1 million. And it's been so long since I got dressed up. And even Adam texted me and went, oh, red lippy. Been a while, love. So I know he was a little bit like, oh, making an effort for these girls. Like, what's going on? I just said to him, you'll have to take me out for more romantic meals if you want me to put my red lippy on. Well, maybe not. Anyway, TMI. Back to the event itself. So yeah, I felt like $1 million, and I walked in that room like I belonged there. And I think this is the first thing I want to give you is how often do you walk into a new place, whether it could be a bar where you're meeting a friend or a first date, or it could be a meeting room where you've been invited to come and represent, or it might be a training session, or one of these kind of events where you're going to learn and expand and grow. Like, do you intentionally walk in there with an air of I belong here, or are you still shrinking? Are you still like playing small, keeping yourself small? And we do this in our body language, and I'm doing it as I was saying these words, right? We kind of, if you imagine, if you're not watching on YouTube, and if you're not, why not? Come over and subscribe to my channel. Um, when we make ourselves small, we literally do things like we hold our hands close to our chest and our shoulders come forward and our eyes look down, and we're making ourselves smaller versus opening up our shoulders, lifting up our head and our chin, smiling, like opening our arms and being more open and big, if you like, and actually walking in like you belong there. And that's definitely what I did. And it made all the difference to the people I met and the friends that I've made and the conversations that I ended up in. And that night, I ended up having a few minutes with Suzy. She is absolutely fabulous. The best thing I think about her whole event is the amount she has as many outfit changes as Taylor Swift would do in a night's concert. It's wonderful. And she has just got legs limbo, and she wears the sparkle and the glitz and the glam and the hot pants, and the hair changes every time. And what I love is that she's always wearing flats. She's always in trainers. She just manages to carry it off. But I just love how she dresses up and she just nails it every time. So anyway, I did have my few minutes with her, and she just wanted to check in and say, okay, where are you? And bearing in mind, I'd just seen her in the field at Ideas Fest the week before and sort of introduced myself then and said, oh, I came to your January event. I'm coming next week. So I felt like we had this connection. And yeah, I gave her the lowdown on where I was, and she gave me a quick read, I guess, in terms of like what she was thinking, and it just got my mind ticking over, I guess, as I went into the event. And so that was a wonderful evening, and then we had 2 long days. So Friday and Saturday was 8:30 registration and 8 p.m. finish. So long old days, but she does give you a nice little break for lunch and dinner as well. And the Friday was all about like stepping into your mission and vision and really being clear on what your values are. And this is like work I've done before, but you can never do it too much. And actually, this is partly the work that is in the success roadmap. So if you haven't still got your success roadmap, you can download that. The link is always in the show notes, or you can go to my website, emmaclaytonxo.com, and go to free resources and download your success roadmap from there. Because there's a big values exercise in there. Because unless you know what's like really important to you, and we think we do, we think we go through life thinking we know, but until you sit down and actually try and articulate it in words, it's actually quite difficult. So it was very much along the lines of really getting clear on what your vision and your mission was in your business in this case, because everyone in there is business owners or wanting to step into their own business. And then yeah, really hankering down on the values. And I guess so the event is called Infinite Receiving Live. Her book is called Infinite Receiving. I recommend it. Go grab it. It's an Amazon bestseller, and she's also got an audio book as well. And it kind of goes through the stuff that we spoke about over the weekend, but obviously we were able to go really deep in some of this stuff. And I guess what she started off with was this idea of like the more you receive in terms of wealth, in terms of money, the more you can give. And the more you give, the more you receive. And it's like this perpetual cycle of actually money in the hands of women who want to do good in the world, especially now, as there is so much that is not great about what is going on in the world. The more money in the hands of women, the more wealth in the hands of women who want to give back, who want to do good, then the better, right? So we've got to stop cock blocking ourselves from receiving. And so there's this idea of the more you give, the more you receive, the more you receive, the more you can give. But also she brought in the more you give, the more you live, right? So there is this idea of sometimes we work, right, for our wealth, for our money, um, for our income, and actually we forget the living bit. We forget that life is for living, not just working. So the more you give, the more you receive, the more you receive, the more you give, the more you give, the more you live, the more you live, the more you receive, the more you receive, the more you give, and so on. It's like this big perpetual cycle. So I really like that. And she had some really big give goals. So whilst it was a conversation this weekend about how to make more money, the intention behind making more money is to be able to give more. So she has plans she's a multi-million business owner. She's made around, or she's set to make 10 million in the 12 years, I think, that she's been in business this year. And as she looks at those kind of give goals, she has set up a foundation called Faith and Action Equals Miracles. So the FAM Foundation, that's one of her taglines. I've actually got a jumper, I should have worn it. With that tagline across the front, she's actually set up a foundation. So she's planning to donate 25,000 this year. And I think it's like 50,000 next year. Then it's 150,000, then it's 250,000, and all the way up to 2030 when she wants to be able to give back £1 million to her foundation. So she's got these big give goals, and it really does make you think, oh yeah, what is it that is important to me outside of my own home, right? Outside of my own causes. And if I could support anyone, what would it be? And for me right now, it's still kind of Gaza based, so medical aid for Palestine, that kind of thing. But ultimately, I still have this real desire to support women in particular, perhaps from a like lesser privileged starting to actually overcome a lot of their trauma and be able to step into their greatness and own it in whatever they want to do in the world. So it's it's opened up that for me, and I wonder the same for you. Like, do you already give back? Maybe you do have like a monthly donation you give to a certain charity or a number of charities. But if you could do more in terms of like, if you could really make that a big part of your why you want to earn more money, like where would that go? So that was kind of how it was opened up. And then there was like this real energy of um moving from it's possible for me through what she calls the inevitability ladder. So at the bottom rung of the ladder, a lot of people look outside of themselves, right, and go, oh, it's possible to earn 10 million in a business in 10 years. It's possible to set up a foundation and donate £25,000 to it. But they don't necessarily see that it's possible for them. And that's that next rung on the ladder, that it's the people that go, oh, it's possible for me too. So me looking at Suzy having earned 10 million, I'm like, oh, it's possible for me to have a business that could earn $1 million, £1 million. But oftentimes people sort of hang out there, and they hang out there in the faith that it might happen for them, versus the people that are actually taking action towards it. They step into the next rung, which is it's probable for me. So not only is it possible for me, but it's probable that I will do it because I am actually taking action towards it every single day with the faith that it's possible. But then what she wanted to give the energy of for the weekend was the next rung of the ladder, which is it's inevitable that it's going to happen and that it's going to happen for me. And that comes from not just the faith and the action, but the consistency around your faith and your action, the consistency every single day, every single minute of the day, bringing yourself back to your why, back to your vision and your mission, back to why the frick you're doing this and putting yourself out there in this way, and why you keep going at it every day, so that it becomes this inevitability. Like, it is inevitable that it's going to happen. It's inevitable that I'm going to be able to give this money. It's inevitable that I'm going to be able to hit the 10 million mark. It's inevitable that I'm going to be able to make that sort of money in my business. And the whole conversation over the weekend was about how you stay in that energy, because it's so easy to be in an event around those kind of people, like your kind of people, in those kind of conversations, and think, yeah, it's inevitable, I've got this, let's make shit happen, and then go home and lose that energy and go back into old patterns of thinking, old patterns of limited thinking as well. And yeah, then you're becoming a match for not that thing that you had in mind, right? So a lot of the conversation was around this need to constantly be deciding, because it's not a one and done. With manifestation, which is like a big part of the conversation that we were having, it's not like a big part of it is you have to claim it. You have to claim what you want. You have to see it. Like, you have to see what is available for you to even know what's inevitable, right? And then you have to claim it. You have to decide that that's what you've got your sights on and that's what you're going after. But then you have to claim it and decide every single minute of every single day, because what's going to happen is your thoughts that are on a loop, that are the same as they were yesterday, 90% of which are, that have created your current reality, are going to be looping in the background and running the show. And I talk about this in Under the Hood. If you go back to, gosh, it must be end of 2023, I actually shared with you my course that I previously ran called Under the Hood, which is all about the brain science, the neuroscience of change. And this is also what it's going to be a big part of the conversation in my No BS GLP-1 method that is kicking off in October. It's you've got to get used to the fact that the current reality you have today is a grand result of not just the action that you've taken, but the thoughts that are driving those actions and behaviors that are on a loop. And if you understand that the brain acts in this way, the brain loves repetition, the brain loves certainty and predictability, it loves to keep you safe and out of harm's way, then you understand where some of your thoughts come from. And I actually did a reel yesterday that I shared because on Sunday when I came in on the bus, there was this very loud lady on the bus who I quickly realised was just talking out loud to no one in particular, but about everyone on the bus, right? So at one point I flicked my hair and she was like, don't you flick your hair. I don't want to smell your hair. So she wasn't like sending me a direct insult because before that she'd been talking about the guy that had just walked on or the baby that she was just Googling at, you know, but to no one in particular. And it just made me chuckle because whilst it was amusing, she was clearly a little bit crazy. I was like, is she actually crazy? Or is she just speaking out loud? The kind of crazy shit we have in going on in our own minds that we would never dare say out loud, right? But actually, what we want to be doing is we want to be revealing some of those thoughts because these are creating our reality ultimately. So some of her thoughts were around how dangerous it was. Some of the things that she was saying out loud was how dangerous it was out there and how, you know, if they've got a knife, they're going to come at you at all different angles and you have to just be ready for it and you have to be prepared and you have to keep your belongings close to you. So there was a clear paranoia around it. However, if you think about it, when we're walking down the street on our own, we are kind of aware and mindful, right, of who might be following us and like what whether we've got our mobile phone is like easy to snatch or something, especially when you're in London. Unfortunately, these days you have to think about this sort of thing. So what we want to do when we want to create something we don't yet have in our lives is really be aware of the narrative that's running in our mind because that creates everything. So there was a big, like every time it was like, but how do I get over my fear of showing up online? Or, but how do I keep going when there's no evidence of me ever receiving this? That it always comes back to coming back to deciding that this is the way I'm going forward. And this is like, I need to take action in in pursuit of that now with the belief that it's already happened or the belief that it's inevitable that it's happening. Because if I don't, then my old thoughts are going to just keep me stuck where I am right now. Nothing's going to change. So that's not new to me, but I just love being in that conversation because it really does bring it to the forefront and allow you to like go, oh yeah, okay, I see why. And you know, if you think back to January and some of the goals that you set yourself for 2025, if there are some on that list that you don't yet have, like what if you just think about it right now, like why don't you have it yet? What comes up for you? And there will be in there some thoughts that will reveal themselves that they are the beliefs that are holding you back. So I have one like sticking point belief that I keep coming up at that is like, am I really cut out for this entrepreneurial life? Am I really cut out for it? That belief comes from a thought I keep thinking that I then believe to be true. Is it, is there, is there any like foundation to this? Yes, maybe there is because the evidence is showing that maybe I'm not cut out for it. But if I just keep that thought alive, then you know what? Nothing's going to change. That is where I need to focus on. I need to focus on shifting that shit because it's not serving me at all. Um, and you get to challenge your beliefs because your beliefs aren't truth. They're your truth. They're not true. If you just look at the political segmentation we're getting or division that we're getting at the moment, right? You've got people that really believe in their party or on their side, and they believe that that is the right answer, that that is the only answer, that that is the truth. Yet you've got people on the other side and everywhere in between. So it's a spectrum. Who is right and who is wrong? Maybe there is no such thing as right and wrong. Maybe there is only your belief, your truth, what is true for you. And if you can, you know, come up with whatever's true for you based on what your parents have fed you or what society has fed you growing up or what your friends like, you can change that too. You can totally look over here and go, actually, I'm going to try on this belief, on this truth for a while. For 20 years, I thought the corporate life was the only truth for me. I thought that was the only way that I was ever going to make money and live. And then for the last 8 years, I've been trying on the truth that actually entrepreneurialism is for me. Being self-employed is for me. But I still have this sneaky little thought, and maybe I'm not cut out for this. If I cut that shit out, then how much better am I going to get on with the belief that I am actually meant to be self-employed? I am actually meant to be doing this work in the world, right? So that was a big part of the conversation. This decision, it's not one and done. You've got to make that decision over and over again. And it doesn't mean overthinking it. It means moving towards something you've never seen through to fruition before. And that feels inherently unsafe to your brain, but you've got to take your brain along with it. Another part of the conversation that I just wanted to reflect on because I really liked it, but obviously talking about money and talking about wealth for a whole weekend, was that there isn't just one kind of tangible wealth, right? This money, and actually money's not even tangible these days. We see a number on our screen come and go. We don't even necessarily touch it and feel it. But this idea that she brings in the wealth trifecta. So it's a triangle, and within the triangle, you've got three triangles at the peaks, which are not just leverageable wealth, which is the cash that you have, that you get to leverage in the world, that you get to give back with, that you get to expand in, that you get to do good things in, that you get to buy yourself stuff with, right? That's your leverageable wealth. You've got intrinsic wealth and you've got experiential wealth. So experiential wealth is like how you live, right? As a result of just being alive and how you experience life, not just through money, like not just through material stuff, not just through experiences that you can afford, but just the joy of being alive. So experiential wealth is this rich experience of living life. So you can actually be very poor and have a rich experience of life, right? Get your head around that because that's really key. And then intrinsic wealth is this connection, not just to yourself, but to a bigger power outside of you. So whether that's God, whether that's source energy, whether that's the universe, whatever that is, it's like that actually I am not just me alone wandering through this earth. I am divinely supported. I am held and supported. And there is power outside of me that's bigger than me that is going to ensure that I am supported at all times. And it's that knowing that even when, it's tough to pay the bills this month, that you are supported and that intrinsic wealth, that feeling rich because you are supported and you're connected to that source and you're connected to yourself is where you can feel wealthy intrinsically inside of you. So it's not one area or another, but all areas of wealth coming together. And I think that's just really key, especially when you're not where you want to be financially. Maybe you are not earning the money that you want to be earning through your job, or you're not earning the money for your business. Like that's one part of it. The other parts are how you're experiencing life in richness and how you're actually feeling rich and wealthy inside of you. I think they were the main things that I wanted to feed back. We talked a lot about selling and strategy in your business over the day 2 and the final day on Sunday, which I won't go into so much now, but it was really good to look at, especially like how you feel about being not just selling, like selling your own products to someone, because that can be like that can come with all sorts of ick, but how you feel about being sold to. And there was a lot of being sold to this weekend. It was just really good to have that kind of really not thrown in your face, but like really like amplified in the room to see what comes up, because actually I I don't hate selling. I'm indifferent about it. There was a time that I felt really icky about it, but actually when I look back at how people buy into my products and services, it's very organic. It's very through conversation. It's very because I go, oh my God, I can help you with that. Like, let me help you. And actually, one of my beautiful new friends from the weekend, Charlie, was exactly that. She's fresh out of corporate. She's got this idea for her business. She is already coaching kids who have ADHD because she's really passionate about coaching the kids rather than the parents so much. And she's also gone down this self-development, self-discovery path, and she wants to help mums in particular of neurodivergent households um, to understand the lunar cycles and like how the full moon plays out in the energy of ADHD kids, and like just really have the tools to help them and support them. So she's got an idea for a business, but she's got no know-how. And I'm like, well, I've been doing it for 8 years. I know how to help you set up your Instagram and start creating reels and stories and B-roll and just show up as yourself, right? So with this passion, with this excitement that I have, because I can see how I can help her do it. You know, she's coming to me for a VIP day. There was no sleazy selling involved, nothing. Just a beautiful conversation about how two people can come together and have some real good fun in the process of helping her get visible on social media, and get some confidence behind doing something she's never had to do before. So that's kind of generally how it goes. When I think back to a redundancy party I went to in the summer, I was just chatting to someone who knew me from LinkedIn, had never met me before, but was like, okay, I think I need to work with you. How do I work with you? And that was just through talking about the work that I do. And she came to me for a VIP day. So yeah, selling for me has always been a very organic conversation. It's been, how can I help? Where are you right now? And can I help? And if I can help, I'll tell you how I can help you. And I have many ways that I can help you. Um, so yeah, selling's never been that big a deal, but I have been quite indifferent about it. Whereas what I saw in the room was a lot of passion and love for selling, because actually the more you sell, the more people you can help. And I think that's where I perhaps have fallen short and had still come back to this belief about, am I cut out for it? Because I'm not like so forthright in what I'm selling and how I'm selling and how often I'm selling. So there's that. And then just my own personal breakthroughs, I guess, in the room. There were a lot of women there who had recently left their corporate jobs. And it's just reinforced it to me that that's where I want to be serving the people that, like, I don't want to be convincing people that have got a job that perhaps the grass is greener, because it's not. Like, it's actually not necessarily greener. Having your own business, it's fucking tough. Like, I am in my business 24/7. There is no switching off from my business. Even in the conversations I have with Adam over dinner, I am still thinking about business. And like, it's beyond the how do I make money. It's like, how can I make more of an impact? How can I tap into more of who I am and what it is that I'm meant to be doing here, and how can I like amplify that in the world, and how can I get more eyes on it so that I can make a bigger impact? Like, that is genuinely what I'm always thinking about. But I don't want to convince anyone that sat there in a really cushy job getting paid well that there is life after corporate. There is life after corporate if you want it, but for me, it's like, you've already made the decision that actually, yeah, it's time for me to go and spread my wings and do something else. Or the decision has been made for you. You've had a redundancy situation or something like that, and you've gone, do you know what? Like I did, maybe this is my time to go and do something different with my life. And maybe you don't even know what that is yet, but it's at that point the decision's been made. Similar to GLP-1s, right? I'm not here to convince you to go on a GLP-1 to lose weight. If you have decided that you are taking this medication as a tool to help you lose weight, but you want to do it right, that's when I come in. Same as this with your career. You've decided, actually, you've done your time in corporate or as a teacher or as a public servant, and you want to go and apply your skills to do something for yourself. You don't want to make other people richer. You want to make yourself like richer and richer in all those ways that we talked about, right? That's when I come in. And so I've got clarity around who I'm talking to, and it feels really good because I definitely feel like it's closer to where I'm at. Like I can help I can help you if you want to be seen on social media. I can help you if you want to use your voice more through training or through a podcast, for example, just getting your voice out there more and consulting maybe. And I can help you if you want to get your back end systems up and running because my back end systems are beautiful. And I'm actually helping more and more of my friends in this industry to get their systems up and running as well. So it's like a full circle moment. Again, I keep having these full circle moments. You'll hear me talking about this, where, I was good at the operational and strategic side of things in the corporate world, and I am good at it in my business, and I'm good at helping other people with it too. So for me, it's still all about helping you be as you can be, but it's more so moving into actually doing your life's work in the world and being as you can be for your business as an expression of yourself. So yeah, I'm all sorts of pumped, as you can probably hear. I am excited to be kicking off the No BS GLP-1 method next week. I'm doing a sort of taster day in the WhatsApp group chat on Friday. So if you're listening to this real time and you want to get in on that, let me know and I can add you to that on Friday. We're just gonna spend the day together and go through some of the things that I've got in mind for the method. And um, yeah, you'll be hearing more about the great stuff coming up over the next few episodes. And I will be getting on to some guests. I have some amazing guests lined up. So yeah, thanks for being here again. If anything comes up from this episode that you want to chat more about, I'm always open to it. You can catch me on Instagram, on LinkedIn. They're my main two. And don't forget, I'm over on TikTok as well. So if you are on TikTok and you are interested in the GLP-1 conversation, come and find me, emmaclayton.xo over there. Same handle as Instagram. And give me some support and some love as I enter the wild, wild west of social media, because it certainly is a bit of a different beast over there. Right. Have a great rest of your week, ladies and gents, and I will speak to you soon.